You're very welcome back. And in this video, I'm going to talk about a day in the life, we'll call it, a day in the life of a shooter. Um, I'm going to kind of try and bring you through my day, how it starts, where it ends up, and what's carried through day by day. What may surprise people is there's actually no peak there, at least not with mine. There's just the same day repeated. It's a process. By the time you get to see a result weeks from now, months from now, the work is already done to deliver that result. A little bit like the shot. When you see the score at 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, 10.8, 10.9, the work has already been completed to give that output. So we're working sort of historically on it. There's 5 categories of the work, I suppose, that I actually take part in. Technical is a big part of it. That's dry fire, range, position work. Then the physical, strength conditioning and mobility. For me, strength isn't a massive one. I've one arm that I really need to work on, some core. We're not looking to be bodybuilders. We're not looking to be weightlifters. But I do need to be able to mobilize rotator cuff, elbows, wrists, fingers, things like that. Then there's the mental side of things, the sports psychology, I'll call it. So there's visualization in there, session reviews. Somewhere in the middle of it all, there's recovery, where nutrition comes in, sleep, and from time to time physio, depending on what's locked up. And then an aspect that nobody understands or nobody sees, and this wouldn't be particularly regular in other countries. There's the business side of things, because I'm running this program myself. We're literally looking at it and going, I've tried to try and find sponsors and partners, content, the production of it, the creation of it, the curation, the dispersing it, I suppose we call it. And that's something that, just as any business owner would know out there, you do the day-to-day work and then you go home, get a bit of grub into you, and then you're into taking care of the running of the business. So, I suppose what I'd say is you're only getting to see 1% of what it is I do. The 99% is stuff that really wouldn't inspire a lot of, well, it may not inspire a lot of people. It's the stuff that's done in the dark. It's the stuff that's done on the wet days, the cold days, the sunny days. That's actually where the work goes in, the real work. The work where the medals should be awarded, if there were medals to be given out, I would say that that's where the medals should be given out. It's okay to show up on a day, we'll say, in a distant time. Let's give it 2 years from now, a place called Los Angeles in 2028. It'd be lovely that day to pick up a medal, but actually the reward I take from day to day, not from the end, that one day, that one moment, if you want. Because if it's not done now, it's not going to suddenly show up on that day, I can tell you. And it's the discipline, not motivation. I put far more weight into discipline than I do into motivation. For me, motivation is very transient, whereas discipline is the rule that keeps me going. The performance, it's built quietly. It's built on my own. The hours that are spent on my own far outweigh the hours that I spend in company while I'm training. And it's all done long before the performance is ever seen, just as it would be in any sort of production. It's the repetition. It's not intensity. It's intense enough in its own way, but it's not getting high heart rate. Actually, if anything, it's working on getting reduced heart rate. It's not about motivation, because again, motivation and emotion are tied in. For me, I cannot rely on them. Other people may find them very, very inspiring. For me, I focus on the discipline. I focus on the process. I focus on repetition. I work on analysis of process based on outcome of results. The results are tied to it. If the results aren't coming up, then we adjust the process. But I don't need to be motivated. I show up every day. I don't need somebody cheering me on. I'm happy to deliver my performance every day because I know the outcome is going to be it's going to be an exact replica of what I expected from my training. I'd say repetition is actually an asset. It's not a price. People would probably say You're putting in all that time. For example, I've shared with people that I probably do a 40-hour week, and they go, God, that's a lot. And I'm going, not really. And when you think of the people I want to go up against and the level I'm going up against them, this is not a local competition. This is world class. These people have 20 years on me. I'm showing up to the dances that were a little bit later. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to show up. However, I have to spend every day doing the work, the right type of work too. Don't want to be a busy fool. It's about doing the right thing, not just doing the thing. It's about every shot, every training session, everything is planned and executed to the same level I want to do it at a competition. I'm suddenly not going to arrive at a competition and start to get more serious. I'm already serious. It's the only way it works for me. Some people would see what I do as monotonous. How could you do that every day? How can you get up at that time? I don't find a problem with that, because I'm always trying to improve, and I don't think there's a start time or a finish time on improving, to be honest. And it's the process I really, really love. I lean into it. The technical categories. So categories for me: technical, we'll call it physical, we'll call it psychological, then there's a recovery, and then there's a business. Range time, technical, dry fire, position work, equipment maintenance, that's all technical. Without doing that, it's like a 5-legged stool with 4 legs. One of the elements missing, the stool falls over. The physical side of things, I do need to be strong enough to last 60 minutes or an hour and 15 for qualifying, and then X amount of time for a final when you're in that. I need to be able to make sure that I'm limbered up enough that my biomechanics, if you were the body attachments, body movements, that they are all to a certain repeatable level as well. Your body has to hold the shot. When I say hold, it's a 0.5 millimeter. Again, you need to remember the tolerances we're talking about. Your body needs to be able to hold, not just on the 0.5 millimeter. That would not even get me into a final. I actually have to be within half of the 0.5 millimeter in terms of precision. The sports psychology side of things, there's a lot of visualizations in there, session reviews. I would read quite a lot on different topics that support the shooting. And again, that's building a model that can be executed by the body in a competition. And recovery, that needs to be in there in the process too. Sometimes it's as bad as power naps when it gets too much, because there's a massive amount of concentration. If you can think of studying your hardest ever, that level of concentration is what goes into a 60-shot competition, a qualifier. And I'll do 3 of those a day. I do three physical, 3 technical, 2 sports psychological. And then the recovery comes in. And then the one that, again, nobody really sees except the people who would be close are business. So I have to try and find partners and sponsors and maintain the relationship with them, and build relationships with them. I need to be seen. The process I carry needs to be seen, it needs to be understood, and I need to find like-minded businesses who are happy to invest in the process that we are delivering, myself and the other volunteers. Again, our team is a team of volunteers, and we're competing against pro and semi-pro organizations worldwide. Again, it's worldwide. This is not just Ireland. It's not just Ireland against Great Britain, for example. It's the world. Competitions, Novi Sad is coming up. That's in July. That's a World Cup. All the big names are coming there. So this is now the opening stage for quota places for Los Angeles in 28. And everyone has to show up because there are only so many positions available for the Olympics. That's the reality. Los Angeles being the current mission. There are pre-qualifiers. World Championships will be in Changwon in Korea this year. To get to those competitions, you have to do pre-qualifiers. That's what Novi Sad in Serbia is. So the training that we're doing are leading up now. We're in a new phase of training, and it's now pre-competition is what I call it. We're in the middle of May right now, so we've got May, June, and July. So it all has to stack up now at this stage. So yeah, it's 5 different categories. Um, the outcome will be a performance on those days of competition, but the work has gone in already. It's gone in last year. It didn't just suddenly start now because this competition season is starting up. This is the work that's going on all the time. You take a day out, you'll find out when it comes to Los Angeles in 28 whether or not it was worth missing that session. I don't want to be sitting in that box. I refuse to sit in that box. The work gets done now. That way we can deliver on the day in line with expectations, similar to any project I've ever done in the IT arenas, business arenas. My mornings, I'll be up around 5 getting ready to start technical first training at 6 o'clock. There'll be hydration in there just to make sure the eyes are all lubricated. After that, then there's a physical session comes in. So I'll do technical, physical, sports psychology, technical, physical, sports psychology. Those are the way I do it, and I do a blend. And generally there'll be quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily plans that are aligned in a certain program. And in the middle of all this, there's an element of rest needed. The brain has to be allowed reset, along with the physicality of spinal compression and things like that, which it can be a challenge to sit in a wheelchair all day without letting the spine and all the legs and muscles and arms and everything just move on to a horizontal, because you're not moving in a wheelchair. It can be quite painful over an extended period of time. Not a moan, just an explanation of why the breaks would need to be in there, both mentally and physical. I'd say at the end of each day, there's a review. Starting out at the beginning of the day, there was an outcome desired. It could be on an element of hold, for example, in my shooting. I wanted to improve hold. I would have picked out an element within my process that aligns with hold. I'll check at the end of the day, did my training plan deliver the results that I was expecting? Everything is measured. Everything has to be measured. There's no room, no more than there's room in any project that I've ever done. There's no room for it'll be all right. It's not all right. If you're not going to measure it, why do it? Why try to improve? What is improvement if you don't have a basis for analysing improvement? Other than that, it's literally, we'll see how it all shows up. And that's not a way, it's not a way for me anyway. I don't want luck to be a factor in it. There was one guy said before, chance favours the prepared mind. Well, in a case like this, I want everything lined up in my favour if luck is going to visit. I'd hate to be depending on purely luck, though. It just won't happen, and I won't allow it to happen. So again, yeah, you're looking at the 1% that you see, but the 99%, a little bit like an iceberg. The part you see is nice. It's an odd to look at, but actually there's 99% that's not being seen, and that's where the real work goes. That's why discipline's fierce important. The work that really builds the result, that happens when no one's around, and that's the way it should be. It's not up to people to get behind you and motivate you. If you don't have the motivation yourself, I would say it's pointless. If you don't have that drive, that want for improving, that want to be the best that you can be. What I found is mediocre always thinks it's working too hard, and the top level are always wondering, can they work harder? That's what I see anyway. So yeah. I suppose interesting in its own way. The next video I'm thinking I'm going to cover, why am I building this journey publicly? That might be an interesting one for people. So thank you for stopping by.